Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And another day in the Call of Duty scene, another day of spicy drama here on the timeline. This time it's Slacked versus his former team in the Florida Mutineers, but there's also many of other interesting bits and bobs to dive into as well. And tweeting your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'll greatly appreciate it. Already have the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, just wanted to mention this real quick, episode 27 of the Breaker Boy podcast now available on YouTube and all the other podcast platforms, Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. We now live stream this on Twitch on a Monday or a Tuesday. It can be somewhat awkward to get the timings right with everyone and to make sure everyone's available. I think Lion on this one unfortunately had to work a little bit earlier so he couldn't make it, so it's just me and aBeZy, but I thought I'd bring it to your guys' attention. We do this podcast every single week. I think I have new people are discovering this all the time. Wanted to mention this as well though from the Clayster side because of course he's in a difficult spot right now. Removed himself off the team it seems from the New York Subliners. They as an organisation are in a very tough spot and I'm honestly kind of excited to see what happens to that DiamondCon team going forwards. Can he get out to the States? Many big questions remain over there. What happens to Clayster going forwards, right? Does he come back into the team for the World Championship? Where does he go next season? You know, so many big questions right now. But we did also see he had some announcement brewing yesterday. He's partnered with Zenny Gaming, kind of like the CDL has to bring some new frames to the mix. And well, maybe I'll have to check these out and see if Clayster X Zenny has got anything to show. Pretty interesting stuff regardless. Let's talk about this then, right? So, yesterday one of the big announcements that came through was that Mutineers decided to say farewell to Slacked. Now, this isn't necessarily Mutineers just getting rid of Slacked, right? Because they want to have a player on their bench, right? I'm pretty sure they're like obliged by the rules to have a player on their bench. And Slacked was that guy after being in the starting team at the start of the season, then got removed for Havoc after stage 2 in pretty interesting circumstances. And since then their team has certainly, I think, moved on and a step in the right direction. Neptune's obviously massively improved, which has helped with that. But still, like the last couple of months, they've probably looked more promising than they ever did when they had Slacked into the lineup. But one of the reasons why, as we'll look in a second, is due to the Challenger stuff. But as they say, thank you to starting the 2021 season as a Mutineer, bringing invaluable experience to the team. We wish you the absolute best in your next journey. That will be in the Challenger side, as Crone explains right here. So, effectively, that the rules state on the Challenger side with the World Championship for Challengers coming up relatively soon that, okay, Methods, TJHaLy and Decimate want a team with Slacked. But the problem is that Methods is a substitute for the Toronto Ultra, TJHaLy is a substitute for the Los Angeles Thieves, therefore that's two players signed to starting rosters. I'm pretty sure last season you weren't allowed to team with anyone that was signed to a different starting roster, or like, sorry, not starting roster, but like signed to an actual CDL team, right? So last season there were some issues with that. I'm pretty sure like Center kind of got screwed over because he was a subliner's substitute and he wanted to team with the squad that had Goonjar on that was an OpTic gaming substitute, and therefore he wasn't allowed to do it because I don't know what the rules, well, I don't know why, to be honest, that was the rule. This season that's no longer the case, but it's still capped at 2 players on the on any rosters at all in the Pro League that can actually be on a team at any one time. Therefore Slacked had to be removed off the team. So maybe you told Mutineers, look, I want to be gone off your lineup and just let me team in Challengers and maybe I'll have more chance of making some money along those lines. So interesting decision regardless. This is what happened back in April. Then he gets removed off the team. Now, at the time, it was kind of interesting, right, that Slacked even found himself on this squad. And, you know, it was really tragic, right, that FeLo passed away before the season even began. That meant a slot was open over there on the Florida Mutineers. And Slacked managed to fit it into that slot. An early season, it didn't look absolutely shambolic, but it was always interesting to me that Slacked was teaming with these guys, because last season throughout Modern Warfare, you guys might remember when Awakening first came on the scene with the Florida Mutineers, Slacked was one of the guys at the time on Seattle Surge who was like, okay, this Awakening guy seems a bit dodgy, right? Like he was talking about maybe the Cronus, or just implying that maybe Awakening isn't fully 100% legit with the online league. And then, of course, a few months later, they find themselves in a spot where, okay, Slacked is actually teaming with Awakening and gets the opportunity to do so. But looking back on the situation, Slacked doesn't seem particularly happy with how his teammates treated him, as we'll look at right here. So Awakening tweets this out kind of recently. Teammates have been absolutely frying lately. Like, what's going on, right? Because Awakening, if anything, has stepped down a little bit as of late, but it's Neptune and Havoc and Skies that have really stepped up their game, which is pretty impressive to see. But he also tweeted this out, right? Some people are so fake, LOL, because there was a clip that came out from Slacked's stream yesterday where he gets asked in the stream, look, who was your favorite teammate on the Florida Mutineers? And he effectively says, look, no one, they were all kind of weird to me, and they pretty much did me dirty.
Favorite teammate on Florida? I really didn't have one, to be honest, bro. Those guys were pretty weird to me, man. I can't even lie. Pretty damn weird and fake. Oh my god, I got stuck, bro. I really don't like any of those guys, to be honest. Don't got a problem with them, but they did me kind of dirty. Oh my god. Just snapped on his ass.
So I thought it was an interesting argument from Slack that he got done dirty here, right, in the sense that I think he was very, well, lucky in a way, right, to even get the opportunity on the starting team. And, well, it's not like, you know, if you look at like a guy like TJHaLy, right, in a situation like that, it's not like it's not like Slack was the best player on the team by any means, right, like dropping incredible numbers, and therefore, like, when he gets removed, it's like a massive question mark, kind of like when Vivid was dropped for Los Angeles Grillers, who was pretty much clearly, I think, their best player from a lot of people's perspectives, and, well, I guess you could also look at the Cheeto situation, right, to LAG, so like, okay, was he really the worst player on their squad? But for this change for the Mutineers, it wasn't really a massive surprise they decided to go down this route of, okay, getting rid of Slacked and bringing Havok in, because originally the team was meant to be Havok and Slacked at the start of the season, but just before the season began, they brought in Neptune for Havok, and that's kind of the way they went. So I thought I'd bring up the stats right here. You guys can check this out over at breakingpoint.gg if you would so choose. And as you can see, like, this is when Slacked was in the team for the stage 1, stage 2. He had a 0.88 in hardpoint, he had a 0.82 in search and destroy, a 1.01 in control while he was in the team. And Havok's been a little bit worse. As of late, Neptune at the time, like, Neptune's overall KD isn't incredible. I'm pretty sure, like I saw for stage 1, that Slacked even had like a better hardpoint KD than Neptune, because Neptune just improved drastically, as you may well have expected him to do at these last couple of stages, getting more familiar with the game. But okay, look, Slacked had a 0.88, 0.82, 1.01. It's not like he was performing incredibly well, and I think in terms of like SMG categories, he was down there at the bottom, right? So I don't really see how, well, I don't really see on the surface how he got done dirty here. Maybe he has some different opinions behind the scenes. You can also look at this, I suppose, Slacked maybe looking at the placements that they're having since they got rid of him and saying, okay, how much different really is it? But to be fair, at the stage 1 major, they came 8th. At the stage 2 major, they came 10th. Since then, they've come 6th and then 8th again. But to be fair, this stage, it's been looking a lot better for them, right? They've been improving pretty drastically with this victory up against Los Angeles Grillers here. They also beat Dallas Empire pretty impressively this past week. They're now 3-0 in their group. They're probably going to make winners for the major. They may have a great shot of actually, well, getting the 6th seed for the World Championship, right? So, look, this team seems way better, to be honest, in the last couple of months since they got rid of Slacked. Now, maybe that's just because Neptune improved and maybe he would have improved anyway. But still, I thought pretty strange that Slacked just comes out and kind of says this about his former team. Because if you're a guy like Slacked, surely you actually, well, you want to try and give yourself an opportunity to get back into League next season, wherever that opportunity might be. So you don't necessarily want to burn bridges in this way, I would argue. But I'm still intrigued to hear your perspective in the comment section below. Thought I'd mention this as well real quick from Yeez. He's been one of the top prospects in the North American Challenger scene for the last little bit. He says contract is official. Whether this, because of course Florida getting rid of Slacked, I guess they need a substitute. So I'm not really sure what they're going to do here, but maybe it could be related. It's somewhat tough to say. Wanted to mention this real quick as well before we talk about a little bit of spicy stuff. There was, well, the BBG squad, the Built by Gamers squad, they were meant to be streaming scrims yesterday. Well, they were streaming scrims yesterday. They were meant to be playing OpTic just after this, but OpTic chalked it off, unfortunately. But they did play Los Angeles Grillers, and I'm pretty sure they beat Los Angeles Grillers 4-1 map count. And to be fair, they didn't get 12-point clubs here, did LAG, so not too bad at the end of the day. But that's still the thing with LAG, right? I think they got 4-1 here by Built by Gamers. The only map they won was like 250, 249 or something, so fair play to see the clutch factor, but that team is probably not going to be lasting too much longer at this point. This also was kind of funny, I saw on the timeline, right? Atlanta FaZe tweet this out. Which one are you taking? You've got some of the Black Ops games, the Modern Warfare games on the left-hand side. The right-hand side, I think it was like red on the left, blue on the right, and as Jacob says, look, red for competitive, blue for casuals, which I think is probably a pretty fair opinion, right? I mean, you know, the games maybe on the right-hand side, I guess, for casual play, maybe were more fun, but the game on the left side were, certainly for competitive, I think, certainly far superior. Now, Donny Temp says right here, I would have ran you in Black Ops 1 if I was your age. So if you guys don't know too much about Jacob's career, he was, obviously he's been around for so long indeed, but back in the Black Ops 1 days in like 2011, he was considered basically the best player in the entire game. He was on OpTic at the time and some other teams around that era, but Jacob was considered like pretty much the best Black Ops 1 player in the game. And well, Temp's like, look, I would have ran you back in Black Ops 1 if I was your age, and well, Jacob hits him with the absolute dagger. I had more chips in 2011 than you have to this day to Donny Temp. So with a click of a button, Jacob said, well, taking this man to town, no doubt about it. Thought I'd mention this as well, actually, given we're talking about, well, we're not really talking about the subject of maps, but this is certainly something to think about with, well, the entirety of esports history, to be honest, since back in 2011 and beyond. There was some ranking of the most hated maps in esports history in general, and Piccadilly gets ranked 4th by the Score Esports. What's the worst map we've ever had in the competitive rotation? I think that, you know, honestly, Piccadilly's got to be right up there. There's a few maps that spring to mind. This map was just so horrible, in my opinion. I honestly could not stand it. I had no idea what was going on any of the time. I guess if I played it a little bit more, I might have some idea, but honestly, so frustrating. The other map which springs to mind for me is in World War II, sorry, USS Texas. That map took years off my life. I think it was just the most frustrating thing I've ever had to play in my life. 2 snipers on one side of things, trying to hit inside of the honestly, like, the boat was just absolutely obnoxious. If that map comes back in Call of Duty World War II Vanguard, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. It better not be competitive at the very least. That was probably my most hated map in COD history. But TacticalRab certainly right up there. Definitely tweet to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And I guess speaking really quick of World War II, this is a very nice clip that came out. Given we were talking about TJ, right, and that team that they've got going over there in the Challenger side, we've got Alex right here on UNILAD just a few years ago. On this day in 2018, out a couple of days ago, getting this pretty crazy finish off to the game against Rise Nation. Their UNILAD actually went on to win this series. This is, of course, we saw Alex playing really well as of late for the London Royal Ravens up against the New York Subliners. But this is the time really where we last saw Alex play incredible Call of Duty. I guess also at the start of the Modern Warfare season before he had his thumb injury. But this is the type of stuff that Alex is capable of. And well, if he can get back to this form on the London team, they may decide to keep him for next year. Stay tuned for the video later today on a topic similar to that. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really helps out the YouTube algorithm. I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well. And help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you much as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.
Still, neither team can win here, so you have to talk about that ventilation. Who's going to be the first team to rotate? It'll probably be Rise. You have one player here, that's Loony. He might try to disrupt this scrap time, and he is going to do it. But here comes the big gunfights here at rotation. You have 3 UNILAD players. Alex finds 2. Zed with another one. Alex with 3. And this could be the play that wins them the game. Glide bomb on in. They're set up in ventilation room. What a rotation out of Alex and Zed.
UNILAD trailing for most of the second half of this game as Alex turns and burns. 8 in a row for Alex. Streaks to go. 5 points needed for UNILAD.
That's your own team, buddy.
As Alex goes off a double-digit streak to win the game. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
I love it, baby.
What a victory there from UNILAD. A back-and-forth battle.